Only on 5, Julie Watts explains why some are blaming the federal government for needlessly exposing kids to cancer-causing chemicals.
A raging inferno fueled by combustible materials and gasoline. This is a typical car fire. But this is the reason your child's car seat is filled with chemical flame retardants, a 1.5-inch flame.
Real fires don't follow laboratory tests.
Combustion scientist Don Lucas explains federal regulations require each car seat material individually pass the same small flame spread test created 44 years ago for the interior of the car itself. Tested separately, as required by the standard, some car seat fabrics naturally resist the small test flame without chemicals. But manufacturers say they must add retardants to the padding used inside the car seat to pass. Now, fire scientists point out in a real fire, once a fabric ignites, retardants in the foam are irrelevant.
The flame spread standard was never designed with any recognition of how real car fires behave.
Dr. Vito Bobrovskis contends the test and retardants used to pass it would only be effective if a car fire began inside the child's car seat. He says a fire ignited anywhere else would be too big for flame retardants by the time flames reach the car seat, and it would be too late to save the child by the time flames reach the foam inside.
Instead of protecting our kids, the standard is introducing poisons into their environment.
Health concerns about fire retardants date back to the 70s, when some were linked to cancer and removed from kids' pajamas. But our recent investigation repeatedly found those same flame retardants inside even allegedly green car seats, and inside a child who used one.
That suggests that her car seat was a primary source of her exposure.
A car seat is the only consumer product required by law in all 50 states. Decades of research link flame retardants in kids to the chemicals in furniture, and groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics are calling on the Consumer Product Safety Commission to ban them in children's products. But car seats are regulated separately by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. In fact, a 2008 study found the standard was no longer relevant because the primary threat has changed from a lit cigarette in 1960 to an impact-induced fire. Though regulators defended the standard to one manufacturer, citing the possibility of, quote, children in the back seat playing with matches or a lighter.
I was pleased that somebody was digging into this issue.
Like us, Congressman Jared Huffman questioned NHTSA about its standard last updated in 1972. NHTSA told him they're initiating a 2-year research program and will try to quantify child fatalities and injuries prevented by the standard.
I don't want to wait years and years while millions of babies continue to be exposed to a carcinogen for no apparent safety benefit.
The agency tells us it believes its standard has served to save many children, but admits it has no evidence and has never even evaluated the safety benefit in car seats. In fact, no one from more than a dozen government agencies and industry groups could provide any evidence. So, with the help of Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, we put the small flame spread standard to an informal test, igniting samples from 2 car seat covers. On the right, one with flame retardants in the interior padding that does meet the federal standard. On the left, an aftermarket cover without flame retardants that does not.
Wow.
Side by side, with the fabric and foam combined as they would be in a real-world car fire.
Looking at the amount of smoke production and the rate of fire propagation, I think the one without the flame retardants is performing a little better.
The standard, or at least the added flame retardants in the padding, seem to be irrelevant. Lucas's takeaway?
Well, we found that even though the materials used in car seats can meet the federal standards, they don't always perform better than materials that wouldn't meet the fire standards.
So what does that tell you about the current standard?
I think we need to revisit it and take a look at how the car seats perform in real-world fire situations.
Now, fire scientists say the standard should be revised to focus on fires from crashes and gas tank explosions, and a flame spread test should be used similar to California's new furniture flammability standard. It encourages naturally smolder-resistant outer fabrics instead of chemicals inside the foam. Members of both the Senate and the House have reviewed our findings. The Senate Commerce Committee is now planning a hearing where members will have the opportunity to question the DOT.
Yeah, but how long does this process take? We're talking about hearings. We have this information. Even the greenest of car seat companies still have to have that material in there.
You know, it's unfortunate, Juliet, and NHTSA says that it is embarking on a 2-year research study into the standard in general, not necessarily specific to car seats, so there's no telling how long this could take. Regulators do have the power, though, to order something.
Just so many questions to ask you. We don't have time. Julie, that's a great story.
It is.